Hi guys, I know it's been a while since I last recorded a video. It's just a lot of stuff has been going on in my life recently. You may recall that I did post an update video back on, I think I looked at it just now and it said March 6th. I had posted to you about the issues going on with my girl parts, and then I'd been to the ER twice trying to figure out what was going on. They did ultrasound. They did find out I had another cyst in my left ovary, and I think at the time I'd been to the ER twice, and I actually did go to the ER again the day after I shot my last video. I was at work and I started being in a lot of pain, so I had an ambulance called for me. And I went to the ER for a third time. They gave me morphine, which didn't help with the pain, but really helped relax me. Um, they did yet another ultrasound. The cyst had actually shrunk a little bit, but they didn't really do it besides just give me pain medication, keep me comfortable and stuff. And then I got sent home after a couple hours. Um, I did end up going to a local OBGYN who recommended we do surgery, and I said okay. And I said he scheduled me for a laparoscopy, which is basically they just go in with your belly button with a scope, see what's going on in there, pretty much. It's really just exploratory surgery. That was scheduled for March 18th, and I at that pre-op appointment, I told him, if you need to take out the ovary, go right ahead, because I still want kids. I need one ovary to have kids. So he's just like, okay, I'll keep that in mind, but I don't think we'll need to remove anything. But anyway, on March 18th, I had to go into Memorial Hospital North at like 5:30 in the morning or something. 5 in the morning, I think. I got checked in. All that fun stuff. My surgery was a little bit, was like half an hour delayed because my doctor had to go, my surgeon, the guy who I did the pre-surgery appointment with, he ended up having to go deliver a baby, so my surgery was delayed a little bit. I had the surgery, woke up about an hour later. I had an incision done through my belly button, like I mentioned, and I also had one more that was done a little further down. He said that when he was in there, he did find it wasn't actually the cyst per se. Even though there was a cyst on the ultrasound, the cyst wasn't actually what was causing me the pain. The cyst actually vanished on its own, which is a first for me. The main reason I'd been in so much pain was because as I mentioned before, I'd had several cysts prior, and it turned out that I had a lot of scar tissue left over from those previous cysts, and it was completely coated my ovary, and basically the scar tissue basically fused my ovary to my bowel. And if that sounds unpleasant, it really was. It did hurt quite a bit. So what they did was they went in there with a laser, zapped away all that scar tissue, freed up my ovary, cleaned all that up. And, well, they gave me Norco. Well, I call it Vicodin because it's a bunch of Vicodin with less Tylenol, but they gave me Norco for the pain, which is what they gave me before the surgery when I'd been to the ER, so just the same old pain medication. I was out of work for about a week and a half. I normally thought I was going to go back after a week, but after a week, it was still too painful for me to sit up in a chair for very long, so I ended up being out for like a week and a half. Went back, and basically, if you recall, I did say I was working at a call center for Xerox, taking calls for Verizon, and basically, during that time I was out recovering from the surgery, I basically realized I really don't want to do this anymore because it's a stressful job, and also after I got back from my surgery, my regular supervisor, she just got back from maternity leave, which I did not like at all because I really liked the supervisor who had been subbing for her. So when my regular supervisor came back, my stress level went right through the roof because my regular supervisor, she's just not very sympathetic. She's just not very pleasant to work with. And so just not even quite a month after my surgery, I ended up making a little mistake on a call one day, forgot to verify information, and I'd already been on a final warning for that. So apparently a couple of days after I made that little mistake, this is probably 3 weeks after my surgery, she called me into a room in private and said, "You're already on a final for this. Here's what we're going to do." I can either fire you or you can go ahead and quit. I would recommend quitting because it would look better for you. And I pretty much said, I'm going to quit. Bye. She had me turn in my ID. I walked out. And I really wasn't that broken up because, quite honestly, it was a stressful job. So, after not quite a year being a Xerox, I went ahead and left and I didn't look back. I did stay unemployed for a little bit after that, but I did use some money from my student loans to pay the bills and stuff while I went job hunting. Although I did still have, like I said, I was still healing up from the surgery, and this next part I'm not really proud to admit, but it's just it is what it is. But anyway, I was still uncomfortable from the surgery, but wasn't in like too much pain. But I did still have a lot of Norco left over, so I admit sometimes when I didn't want to waste gas driving around filling out applications, sometimes I just take one or two tabs of Norco, get a little buzz going, fall asleep for a while. I didn't take it for the buzz, but I just took it to fall asleep for a while. So I did that more than once. I admit that. And then I ran out of the Norco. Happy to say I didn't go into withdrawal from the Norco, unlike what I had to go through with the. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this part. I'd been getting dependent on my Klonopin to get by at my job because it was a stressful job. But when I went out for the surgery, I decided to go into full detox from the Klonopin. I went cold turkey, and well, that wasn't pleasant. It made my recovery from the surgery a little more difficult than it had to be. But after a very, very unpleasant detox experience, the withdrawal symptoms did eventually go away. And even though Norco does have that addictive potential, I can definitely say that I didn't have any withdrawal from that. I was able to get by without once I ran out, but it was better that than go through withdrawal like I did with Klonopin or with Prozac back in 2006, or Zoloft back in 2006, excuse me. So, there's an upside to that, thank God. Anyway, long story short, I did end up getting a job just a couple weeks ago at I kind of signed a deal with the devil, really. I got a job as an overnight stalker at a local Walmart neighborhood market. Um, yeah, it is retail again, but on the flip side, the store is closed overnight, so I don't really only really have to have the potential of dealing with customers at the beginning and end of my shift. I just stock shelves in the general merchandise section. I don't have to deal with anybody. I can just clock in, look at my list of where I'm assigned for that night, and just go to town, go at my own pace, just make sure things are done by the time I leave. And it's really, really very, very nice, actually. I don't have to really talk with anybody. I don't have to deal with calls coming in left and right. I don't really got to deal with that many customers. I mean, of course, every day you usually deal with one or two, just helping people find stuff, but it's really not that bad. And plus, like, retail's old hat for me, so it's really not that bad. And the main reason I did overnight instead of during the day is because this summer I am taking a couple classes, of course, and one of them is online. The one that's in person is actually going to be right in the middle of the day, 4 days a week, and a normal job really wouldn't have accommodated me for that, so that's why I went for an overnight gig with Walmart, and plus I get a little bit of a salary incentive for doing overnight, so I'm not really I'm getting paid about the same as what I did at Xerox. Of course, I don't have health insurance anymore, which is well, I'm just gonna have to pray neither of us gets sick. So there's that, and let's see what else. Well, part of the whole taking Norco to get a buzz thing is, well, I did mention in my last video that I kind of had you saw me crying because I thought the pain meant I had a miscarriage, and it turned out, of course, I was never pregnant, but still, as a result of that whole not miscarriage thing and the whole having to leave my job thing, my brain kind of freaked out, and I've been kind of in a brain fog ever since my whole not miscarriage thing. So, as a result of that brain fog, which I'm still kind of in right now, I admit, as a result of that, I couldn't really get the motivation to get my schoolwork done. So I got a little bit of it done, but I still pretty much crashed and burned this semester. So I may not be able to graduate when I want to, but I will figure that out in due time. Yeah, the whole brain fog thing. I thought it was a result of me taking the Norco all the time, but even after I ran out, I still had that whole fuzzy brain feeling. So it probably only really last week that I realized I probably had a mental breakdown over the whole not miscarriage thing. And having a job, having something to focus on, it's been helping me a little bit mentally. I do start school on Monday, so I'm hoping that I can get things done. Of course, I work at night, so hopefully I'll have some time to get my schoolwork done. I better, or I'm screwed. And, what else? One day, end of April, when I was doing the job search thing, I'd heard that the local Humane Society was having a free cat adoption day. So me, being maybe a tiny bit buzzed, I don't know, went over to the Humane Society, found a little torty calico kitty. I ended up adopting her for free, of course, but I couldn't take her home right away because I still had to spare because I guess she'd just come in. So had to wait a couple of days, brought her home. Her name is Nipa. They guess she was 2 years old, but my husband thinks she's considerably younger because she still bounces around and generally acts very much like a kitten. She does try to play with PK, but PK, being an old lady, she's having none of it. So right now, it's been about a month and a half since I got Nipa, but they're still not quite getting along. They're not cuddling or anything. They pretty much tolerate each other, and Nipa does still try to pounce on PK, try to get her to play with her, but PK is still having none of it. So I guess that'll just take some more time. And I haven't really mentioned this to anybody, but one of the main reasons I adopted Nipa was not only because I wanted another cat, but also because I admit I'd had a mental breakdown pretty much, so I wasn't really in a good spot mentally between that and my job loss and everything. So I basically, one of the main reasons I adopted her is because, excuse me, is because I wanted something good to focus on. And my husband was not really happy I brought home another cat. I never told him why I brought home another cat, but he wished I'd run it by him first. But after a couple of days, he warmed up to her. He loves her now, so that's all good there. Anyway, let's see. I wanted to show you my scars from the surgery here while we're on the topic of surgery and mental health breakdowns and stuff. So let me try to angle the webcam down a little bit here. Don't know how far I can go. Let's do my belly button. You can see it right there. Let me do my other hand if I'm not blocking the webcam. You can probably see a little red mark right there. That's the top one when they went in through my belly button. And then I'm going to go a little lower here. There's a little slit right there. That's the lower incision right there. It's still dark, but I'm sure it'll start fading in due time. Okay. And I admit, unfortunately the surgery was not a cure-all for the pain. I still occasionally have little flare-ups of pain on my left side. I don't know if it's because my ovaries still adjusting to actually being in a regular position again, or if I'm having more scar tissue grow, which unfortunately is a potential complication of having a laparoscopy. Oh, the irony. But right now things are okay so far, which is good. I mean, like I said, it still hurts a little bit every now and then, but at least it's not nearly as much as it was back in end of February, beginning of March. So there is that. And even though I did have insurance at the time, I still racked up $4,000 in medical bills between my ER visits and the surgery. But I think I've got that whittled down to about $3,500. But still, it's a lot of money, so I guess I'll just have to work on selling figures or something and get that whittled down as much as I can. I think that's about it for this video. I do apologize for not having any updates recently. It's just, like I said, I wasn't in a very good state mentally. I didn't want anybody to see me like that, even though you kind of saw a little bit of that in my last video, and I do apologize for that, but that was how I'm feeling then, and I'm still kind of feeling that way now. I mean, I haven't cried about it since, but still, it's like, I think about that whole, like, even though I know it wasn't a miscarriage, there's still that whole feeling of, well, I already went over that in my last video, but anyway, I know I've kept mentioning over the last few months that I'm going to make a video about Dad. I guess I'll get around to that when I can. It's just between night job. Well, as a result of my night job, I've been sleeping a lot during the day, and then I only have a couple hours during the day before I gotta go to work. So, and with school coming up, I'm probably not gonna have a lot of free time this summer, but I will try to get some more videos up. Let's see, today is June 13th. So before I go ahead and sign off, I'm just gonna go ahead and say happy birthday to Joe. Today he would have been 35, so happy birthday to Joe. I'm going to go ahead and go play some Metallica songs in his honor. So, thanks for watching again, guys. Thank you for your patience in dealing with my recent health issues here. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So I will get back to you when I can. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.